Sunny Hostin, or as I like to call her, Not So Sunny Hostile, is one of the most prolific racists in American daytime television history. And we have had some of the most unhinged, insane racists in American television from the beginning of television. She, as well as Joyless Reed, as well as Whippin' Goldberg, they just so all happen to be on the very same network. She happens to be one of the worst racists. She is a race baiter. She is a race hustler. She is race obsessed. And the irony is this, and I just want to use this as a refresher to give us some insight into who she actually is before we get into the actual purpose of this segment. So without further ado, let's get into this.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
There's a lot there. First and foremost, where did you think the Puerto Ricans came from? That's a question for the Department of Education, who has failed us greatly in this country. Secondly, Not So Sunny has ancestry in the slave trade, which is quite ironic for somebody who uses their platform to continuously beat down white folks for their white supremacist ways when her own great-great-great-grandpappy was a slave holder himself. But let us finish this segment off.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information.
Power of deflection. She is definitely a lawyer. Well, they say that her career before The View, if you can even call that a career, but she was a lawyer. The deflection is definitely, it's giving lawyer. It's giving lawyer. So Sunny, or Not So Sunny Hostile, is the descendant of slaveholders. So the reason I bring that up is because there's a recent segment from The View, or The Viewless, as I would now be referring to him as. She is on The Viewless, and she's essentially bringing up the whole race thing once again. And for me, I would think you would learn your lesson. Oh, wow, I actually share genealogy with people with slaveholders. Damn, I actually might owe somebody else reparations. That's the sort of logic I would undertake. But instead, Not So Sunny takes this as an opportunity to triple down, which is actually, it's a psychological op, right? It's a psychological operation in the fact that you can use it as a way to, I guess, take away the attention from your own situation. So, example, there's a guy named Ryan Clark, and he is on ESPN. He's one of these race baiting, race hustling sort of commentators, right? Everything is about racism, 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 racism. Turns out that he has a white baby mother. So in order to compensate for that, and in order to push the narrative away from his own life, he continues to do that. Another example is like a Childish Gambino or Donald Glover. He's always on, this is America. No, it's all the blackety black stuff that he's got going on. But turns out that he is into white and Asian women. Actually, I believe his wife is a Caucasian woman, which is a beautiful thing, right? Marry who loves you, be with who loves you, you love them. But this is those types of people. I mean, the guy who made Get Out is married to a white woman. It's like, watch out for the white woman. She is dangerous. Do not involve yourself with her. That is the overt messaging of the movie. We can make up all the other theories about what else is underlying, but the overt message is black man is a white woman, and these, parents of this white woman are trying to harvest him basically for organs or whatever it may be. And they've done this to all the other black men she's dated. Yeah, that guy, the guy who made that movie, is married to a white woman. But they use this as a way to, it's almost like cope. It's an identity crisis thing. And I can assume she also has the same thing Huey P. Newton had, Angela Davis, where they're mixed race, but they are looking for this acceptance in the black community. And so therefore they triple, quadruple down. They create the Black Panthers, or, like Bob Marley, they stand up for black people's plight, which can be a beautiful thing in one respect, but on the other side, it becomes very detrimental. especially those sane-minded people who are tuning in and who hear this perpetuated message. But anyway, I brought that up to bring this segment up. So we're going to let this play out, and I'm going to give my 2 cents. The return of the viewless, the 4 wicked witches of the Northwest.
There's one other thing that's also very interesting to me, because President Trump, as you remember, called Haiti a certain type of country. As it turns out,
shithole. That was the word. Yeah. Shithole, just in case you forgot.
Our new American Pope has Haitian and Black roots. So we actually have a Black Pope.
You can't make this delusion up. Okay, so the new Pope has Black roots. Therefore, he's a Black Pope. Let me take that same logic real quick and use it on what we have unearthed about Sunnyless Hostile. Sunnyless Hostile has a great-great-great-grandpappy who is a slave owner. Therefore, a Spanish slave owner. In the same logic she used with the Pope, that means that she is a Spanish slave owner. Get it? The Pope has Haitian roots. Might have been a great-great-great-grandmother who was a Haitian. Maybe she'll explain more on the genealogy. And by the way, what does that have to do with Trump? You know, Trump was like, yeah, there's some whole countries out there. There are. And I would agree. The country of my own origin, as beautiful as it is to me sentiment-wise, most of it has turned into an absolute shithole. It's a reason why we moved out west. Reason why we moved to the United States. Reason why my family made a home in a place where they could actually build. If you can't face the reality about a situation, you get offended by every damn thing. You know, you take it so personally. I don't take it personally because I'm not a shithole person, but damn it, that environment. I mean, some environments, some places you go, it is shitholes. Potholes and shitholes. Excuse my language. I've likely used that word more than I've ever have in any other video, but you know, that's the word that was used.
Apparently, it's like chef's kiss for me. So apparently, both of his maternal grandparents are described as Black, Haitian, or mulatto in several census documents. And on their marriage license, the grandfather's birth place is Haiti, listed as Haiti. Her birthplace is listed as born in New Orleans. They were identified as people of color. But in 1920, when they migrated to Chicago, the census reflected their race as white.
So I'm loving everything about this Pope.
Which means that they were so fair-skinned they didn't even pass the quote-unquote paper bag test. The same people who would not be accepted as Black because they're not passing for it. I mean, it's when it comes to these Black liberals, these Black Democrats, whatever they want to affiliate, the Black progressives, etc., the wokety woke Black folk, they will use something when it benefits them. So it's like, you know, Tiger Woods is a Black man when they want to use his achievements to basically make themselves look more impressive, right? A Black man did this, a Black man did that. But as soon as that person is, I don't know, not standing on the same ideology as them, they're no longer Black. And I'm talking about you could be dark skinned. As soon as you tell the truth, you're no longer considered Black. Now you're an agent of white supremacy, a sellout, but you're not Black anymore. But if you have one drop of Black blood, or whatever the hell that means, one damn drop, and we're not even talking about FBAs, because they love to talk about that too, right? Foundational Black Americans, that's what makes you Black. You're talking about Haitians. So you're talking about he's got tether blood? That's what they like to call that. Which was so minuscule, it didn't even matter. Now, of course, this whole conversation is a stupid conversation because who the hell cares, right? But they do. And they have a platform that continues to reach millions of, well, probably like 12 people who actually take it serious, but it reaches the masses. It is pushed upon the masses, right? There is an operation currently in place to have these people look to be the thought leaders. And therefore, there are people who listen to this with a genuine ear. And we have to be cautious about that because not everybody is a free thinker, not yet. Not everybody's in a place where they have finally figured things out, connected the dots. You know, all of us were at some point, or most of us were at some point in a place where we we didn't exactly acknowledge or recognize the truth as it was. We were still in the process, maybe. We were still getting there, but we weren't fully there. I know for me, I can speak for myself. There were times when I was very much given over to the Democratic plantation. I was very much given over to the sort of race-baity ideology. I was very much still in that black identity. Hell, I used to wear the long rosary-looking Africa chain with the damn bandana and a dashiki on. Confusion, looking for a sense of identity. I was, trying to be the, I guess the thugged out dude. And then I was trying to become the Ashwagandha Wakanda sort of guy. Like, I was trying to become, somebody said Ashwagandha Wakanda propaganda. Shout out to y'all. That is hilarious. But I was still looking for my way. And so for those people, these sort of sentiments, the continued conversation like this is so dangerous and it's disingenuous. And that's why I continue to expose and reveal the people behind it, because Sunny Hostile, or not so Sunny Hostile, she's the type of individual who, she won't speak on her own revelation that happened in front of everybody. She'll pretend it never happened. In the same way she continues to speak on DJ T. Oh, he's a convicted felon. But your husband is right now undergoing one of the biggest trials, one of the biggest frauds, they say, in New York legal history. He's a fraudster. Your husband, the doctor. Yeah, the insurance fraud claim. That one. The federal RICO case that he is currently undergoing. Your husband. But you don't bring him up because it's disingenuous. It is a psychological operation, psychological warfare that is taking place. Disinformation, misinformation, fake news.
Like, there's like this picture of him on a donkey in Peru that I mean, it's just, he's bringing me so much joy. Yeah. This is a man who has, so the
only reason they like him is because he's woke as hell. Like, I'm just going to be real with y'all. It's because, why didn't they get the first black pope? Because that dude was way too conservative for their liking. That dude right there did not believe in the alphabet nonsense. He didn't believe in, a whole lot of this other foolishness, this woke foolishness going on. He was one of them. He is one of them. They didn't want that. They wanted this dude from Chicago talking about riding on a donkey.
Yeah. The Americans are claiming him. The people in Chicago are fighting over him. The Haitians are claiming him. The Dominicans are claiming him. The French, the Spaniards, and the Peruvians.
And the black people.
He speaks, well, I think the Haitians.
The Louisiana people.
He speaks perfect Spanish. He speaks 7 languages. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he speaks those languages to send a message of peace, love, inclusion. I love that one of his first.
And again, it's because of his stances also on migration, immigration, illegal immigration more specifically. They love him because he's woke. And anybody they endorse, I don't trust because I know what their reputation is. They have always slided, always broken down, always looked to criticize and to slander those who are any good for our people. And by our people, I mean our nation and the greater human family. They've always. The View, I'm glad it's not canceled. I put out an entire, not an op-ed per se, but, I've been going in on The View for a while now. But now I'm at a place in my life where I say, no, don't cancel them. Let them continue to bury themselves while they continue to show us exactly what this Democratic plantation truly is. Let us see who is in charge and what they're looking to push onto the masses so we know our enemy up front. Because for the first time ever, we know exactly who we're dealing with. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there. Or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.